Everyone, it's time to talk about a bunch more PlayStation 2 games. I have a big stack of PS2 games in front of me, so let's check them out in order, starting with Jackass the game. So, Jackass was a huge cultural phenomenon on MTV in the mid 2000s, and yeah, they even made a game from it. It's like the stupid, idiotic, crazy stunts and as you can see, some insaneness from this era. The game is pretty fun. I think if you like the humor and the dangerous stunts of the TV show and the movies, I think you are going to like it. I used to really like Jackass. Yeah, there is an advertisement for MTV music television available on DVD. What is this? Some, yeah, like Beavis and Butthead and other MTV shows. Oh, this is just an ad for the DVDs. Oh, Pimp My Ride, Aeon Flux. There is Viva La Bam, which was a spin-off kind of thing of Jackass. That was really crazy. Yeah, Wild Boys also. Beavis and Butthead, of course. That's a classic. And MTV Mobile. Wow, look at that Sony Walkman phone actually. That's pretty cool. But going back to the game, it has a nice color manual with like graffitis and stuff in there. That's cool. And back in the day, Jackass was a huge deal. I think this game is pretty cool. And if you have the US version, the US version actually is one of only 4 games on the PlayStation 2 that you can play in 1080i resolution. So, it's like an HD resolution from the PlayStation 2. Next up is an absolute classic, Jak 2 Renegade, which is the second episode from Naughty Dog's Jak and Daxter series. And I'm gonna be honest, I haven't played this one. Nice big manual. There is an ad for Jak 3. So this is like a platinum version game, so it's a re-release. I haven't played any of the Jak games. I'd like to try them eventually. I guess I just, missed out on them back in the day, but I heard they are really fun, and it's like, a bunch of people love it, and they are asking for the return of Jak and Daxter, and hopefully Sony will do something with it soon. Well, I already talked about a bunch of James Bond games, and here's 3 more. This is Agent in Crossfire. I have the German version, so yeah, but the game actually is in English. There is Everything or Nothing, and then there is Nightfire. So yeah, it's the Pierce Brosnan James Bond games. Although I'm not sure if James Bond is in this one, because I think this one is not based on any movies, and then the other 2 is. That's why we have like the movie posters. I think the real successor, or it's at least the closest one to the GoldenEye games in terms of quality, is the Nightfire game. Because this actually looks like a James Bond game, and there is like multiplayer modes in there. It has just a ton of content, and I think this is like a much later game. Yeah, it's 2004. So yeah, there is a bunch of exciting stuff in there. It's an interesting series, and this is from the time when EA was actually making the James Bond titles. And staying with the movie spin-off video games, this is Jaws Unleashed. I think this is a pretty fun game. You are basically Jaws, the shark from the movie, and you get to go and eat people and destroy stuff and sneak around and bite other animals and hunt prey and whatnot. And this is actually a Hungarian made game. If I can zoom in, there is Appaloosa Interactive. It used to be a Hungarian game studio, and they were really good with like water-based game, I guess. They have an Echo the Dolphin game, which I previously talked about. And then there is Jaws Unleashed that they made for the PlayStation 2. And I think, although a bit clunky, this is a pretty fun game. Basically, Maneater, which is a PlayStation 4, PS5, etc. PC game, got inspired by this game because it's very, very similar. Wow, and look at the nice colorful manual on this one. So yeah, you are a big shark, eating people, destroying stuff. It's actually pretty janky, but also kind of fun. So this one, when I picked it up, I thought it's like a Wipeout clone, and by the looks of it, it is. It is a shameless Wipeout clone. 2,500 miles per hour. That's crazy. Gas prices had risen as the fossil fuels disappeared. Cold fusion. It's in the far year of 2040. Wow, that's only 15 years from now, and we are going to have, these anti-gravity racers made by Crave Entertainment and published by Ubisoft. This is something that I just saw one day on the flea market for really cheap, but this is an early PS2 game, so it's, as you can see, it's in like the black PlayStation 2 game box, which was only for like the first year of PlayStation releases, so probably it's not that impressive, but it still looked fun. Okay, so this is one of the embarrassing games I have. This is Johnny Bravo's Datorama. I don't want to say the whole thing here. It's a board game type of game with like mini games, so it's kind of like a party game. 8 wacky games, which is, it sounds pretty barren. But it was made by our good friends at Blast Entertainment, and Blast or Blast. They made a bunch of these really low quality, low budget movie or franchise based games, and Johnny Bravo's Datorama is one of them. This is just a really low quality and also low budget game based on the hit Cartoon Network show, which I watched a couple of times when I was a kid, and it was really creepy even back in the day, and now it's even creepier. Juiced was a racing series by THQ and Juice Entertainment, I guess. It's just a classic, car racing. 50 different cars, 100 mods, 7.5 billion, whatever that is, probably like combinations you can do with the mods and whatnot. This is from an era where, Fast and Furious just came out, so everyone was modding their Honda, and everyone was going crazy with like Japanese like project cars and moddable cars, and yeah, it's a Mazda on the back here. Yeah, juiced. I never played this one. Something that I did play was Just Cause for the PS2. Avalanche Studios went on and made, I think if I remember correctly, 4 more Just Cause games, and this one is rough, to be honest. It's also on the 360, I think, but the PS2 version is, well, it's an open world game on the PlayStation 2, so it is rough. The frequent pop-ins, the whole environments are really low res and low quality. The game itself is fun. You can go and have a mayhem and cause havoc, but it is really not suitable for the PlayStation 2. It chugs, it slows down a lot. It's not exactly the best version of the game. If you want to play this in particular, I think you should get either the 360 version or the PC version, because it also released, I think, on the PC. Here is Kengo Master of Bushido by Crave Entertainment again, and again Ubisoft. This is a fighting game reminiscent of, what's it called? Bushido Blade? I think this is probably like a spiritual successor for it. It's a one-on-one fighting there. There is 1 or 2 player modes. The graphics are, well, PlayStation 2 graphics from 2001. So the quality isn't that high, but this looks nice. And I like finding these strange and kind of forgotten games, because nobody really talks about Kengo Master of Bushido. But these are fun games, and I really like Bushido Blade, so I might give it a try sooner or later. Killzone. Remember Killzone? This was one of the big PlayStation 2 selling points, I think, although the series itself really became good on the PlayStation 3 with Killzone 2 and 3. This one is a bit janky. This one is a bit rough around the edges, but still a solid story. There is 2-player mode. There is a lot of different weapons, and this is an early game of Guerrilla, who went on to make the Horizon games after they were finished with the Killzone series. And this is an absolute classic. And speaking of classics, here is Kingdom Hearts 2. Yeah, it's not really my kind of deal, but it is a lot of people's deal, and with like confusing stories, a realistic Johnny Depp, Mickey Mouse, and basically it's a crossover between Final Fantasy and Disney. It's a big action RPG series now, and people are waiting for the fourth game in the series, or the fourth main title. Kingdom Hearts is famous for its confusing stories and epic battles and fighting Goofy, using in the fights Goofy and Donald Duck. It's a cool series that, it's just not really my type of thing. And the next one is Kurikuri Mixu, or Kurikuri Mix, or Adventures of Cookie and Cream in North America. This one, actually, I really like the box, so that's why I picked it up. But then I saw that it was made by From Software, the folks behind the Dark Souls series. So I was intrigued, and it's an interesting game. Basically, you are controlling two bunnies, and it's also like a 3D platformer, but it's basically made for a two-player game, because you have to control both of those bunnies together, and it gets really difficult really quickly. But I really love just like the design on these creatures, and you can see the manual. It's also like full color, crazy full color manual on this game. And I think this is a really early title as well. Yeah, 2001 from Software. Yeah, if somebody is a big Dark Souls fan, I think this game is really hard. Or at least I found playing it by myself, I found it really hard. But it's one of those crazy games that back in the day the good folks at From Software made. I'm not gonna talk about Lake Masters EX for a long time here. Published by Midas, which is, it was called Midas Touch back then. This was a really low budget company who made video games, and yeah, by the looks of it, this is a really low quality, or at least low budget fishing game. It's cool though. There are tournaments, time trial, a bunch of different modes. I mean, yeah, I don't know. I picked it up because it was really cheap. And look at this, even a cheap game like this has a color manual. We had it good back then. Next up is Lara Croft Tomb Raider Anniversary Collector's Edition. So this one is pretty cool. Tomb Raider Anniversary is basically one of the better games in the series after the PlayStation 1 era. It's got the usual Tomb Raider action with giant gorillas and dinosaurs, but this is a collector's edition, so it actually comes with, there is the game disc itself, but it comes with a DVD with the soundtrack and a bunch of bonuses like a documentary, soundtrack, gallery of artworks and whatnot. This one's pretty cool with the physical edition. I hope that they release these games, because they started re-releasing a bunch of older Tomb Raiders. But this one, if you want to play it on a more modern console, this is also on PlayStation 3, and but it's on the PlayStation 3 in the Tomb Raider HD collection. I'm just going to talk about these two at the same time, because these are absolute classic and just fantastic games. I actually played through these back in the day, and I found them really fun. There is Star Wars the video game, which is episode 1, 2, and 3, so Phantom Menace, and Attack of the Clones, and what's the third one? Revenge of the Sith. It's just really funny and cute games. This is basically the standard for every upcoming Lego game, and it was on the CD, so the game is also like really small sized, as you can see. Another color manual. Ugh. And then there is the second one, Star Wars 2 the Classic Trilogy, which is 4, 5, and 6, and it's also really fun and really funny. You can see Darth Vader in a bikini there. And it's just another classic game that's high quality and really good. And PS2 actually had a lot of Lego games. I also played the Batman one, and I played Indiana Jones, and they are both really good. Even on the PS2, even on lower resolution, they are really fun titles. And last but not least, this is LMA Manager 2002. Okay, it's gonna be boring. I really like football managing games, and this was the one I started with basically. LMA Manager 2002. It's just a fun game. You can create your own stadium, you can have different tactics, and it has a really nice 3D engine. I love Football Manager, but Football Manager series has been stagnating in a lot in the graphics department, and I think in a lot of ways, Enemy Manager still looks more like a more realistic than FM in terms of like character models, and you can do whatever you want with the stadium. Yeah, in every other version, every other thing, Enemy Manager is way behind, and it's a fairly complicated game, but I really enjoyed it. I played it a lot with my favorite team. And then, it also has this booklet, which has a bunch of classic Codemasters game. There's in it like, I don't know, Snooker and MTV Music Generator 2, which was a really cool game. You could make your own songs, and that's, pretty fun. There is the Toka games, or the World Touring Car games. Of course, there is LMA Manager, Colin McRae Rally, another classic one, Mike Tyson and Prince Nazim. Not Mike Tyson. Yeah, it is Mike Tyson boxing. Prince Nazim boxing, Music Generator, Micromaniacs, mountain biking. This is a budget line for Codemasters, the one with the yellow. This is the number one bestseller one. But weirdly enough, at this time, they really didn't have any more PlayStation 2 games, only the Snooker one, Music Generator, and then LMA Manager, and then later on Codemasters started pushing out more games in the generation. But it's really nostalgic for me, LMA Manager 2002. It really had me as like someone, for me, it was like a deep dive into football and footballing culture. And since I became a huge football fan, so that's nice. And that's it. These are the games we checked out today. I think my recommendation would be Jackass the game. It's a pretty fun party game and also a single player game. Jack 2 Renegade, of course, it's a high quality 3D platformer by Naughty Dog. Joe's Unleashed, I really like. It's not the best game ever. And in the classics like there are also classics like Killzone, Kingdom Hearts, and the Lego Star Wars games are always a really fun time. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Make sure you leave a like, comment, maybe if you play these games yourself, you have some fond memories of it. And see you all next time, and make sure you subscribe.